Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hey students, welcome to the lecture 3 of atomic structure. So we have gone through two lectures, lecture 1 and lecture 2. I think you have gained some knowledge about the things that we people have seen, and whatever problems are there you will discuss also, right? And you have discussed also. So basically in this third lecture we are going to see what quantum numbers are. Now the question arises from which part this word quantum has come up. See, the word quantum was first given by Albert Einstein. Yes, the Albert Einstein, E equals to mc square. Okay, he has given the word quantum, and quantum as defined by Einstein was a simple packet of energy which can be exchanged. So basically, suppose you have gone to a shop, right, and you are asking for some sugar. So how you will ask? You cannot say give me some sugar, right? What the shopkeeper will give you. You will not be able to understand how much sugar you want or how much sugar you are supposed to get, right? So basically you will say give me 100 gram sugar, give me 1 kg sugar. So it is the energy is also like that. It cannot be continuous. If it is to be exchanged, then there must be some unit by which it will be exchanged. Okay. So that unit was nothing but quantum, as per Einstein has said. So according to Einstein, quantum is a packet of energy which can be exchanged between electrons, right? Whenever electron moves from one orbit to the other orbit. But here we are not discussing about this energy change and all. Rather, here we are discussing about quantum numbers, right? So what basically a quantum number is, that will be discussed briefly here in this particular lecture. How quantum number is used to determine the position of an electron, that also you will find in this lecture only, right? And the most interesting, that how we are going to use these quantum numbers. Okay, using examples it has been explained that how the quantum numbers are used to designate the position. If quantum numbers are given, how we can designate one particular orbital where an electron is located, and also the reverse, if the orbital is given, how the quantum numbers can be understood, right? So basically quantum numbers are of 4 types. Again, I'll not tell you what types are there, what names are there. It may happen that you already know it because it was present in class 11, but here I will not remind you because you have to see the lecture behind this to know about it briefly, right? So in this lecture you will see how an electron is to be located inside an atom, how you can locate the position of electron present inside an atom, and you will see the brief of quantum number, how quantum numbers is used, and how it has to be calculated and all, right? And using examples also it has been explained. So stay tuned, see this lecture from the beginning to the end, and if you have any problem, just as usual write it down in a piece of paper, and we will discuss and we will solve the answer, and we will wait for the next lecture, right? Also there is a question here, you try to solve it out. Okay, if you are unable to solve any problem, again jot it down and we'll discuss, we'll solve it out, right? So here the lecture comes right after this. Let's go. So this lecture is going to be very interesting because in this lecture we are going to discuss about the most important thing regarding an atom, about the distribution of electron, that is quantum numbers, right? Now if we go for the fact of quantum numbers, we have to see that the word quantum was first given by Albert Einstein. Now who is Albert Einstein? That is I don't want to discuss about that because everybody knows he is the father of science. Basically he has multiple inventions which are having very high impact in the world, right? So Albert Einstein for the first time said that energy exchange will occur in certain packets, and these packets were called quantum, right? This comes with the idea that energy exchange is not continuous. It will not go for on and on and on. It is not like that. Okay, if one electron goes from one place to another place, a certain packet of energy will be exchanged. Now the smallest packet, the smallest quantity of energy that can be exchanged between different orbits or orbitals was said to be quantum by Einstein, right? Now from quantum, the thing comes quantum numbers, right? Certain numbers are there which are basically used to denote the position of an electron. Means suppose if you are at your home and I want to know the exact location where you are present right now. Okay, we will start from Asia, then India, then West Bengal, then your locality, then your city, right, and then your home, and then in which portion of home you are present right. Okay, so we are starting from our country, then state, then city, right, and then your home. Okay, so basically like this, if we are going to find out the position of an electron which is present inside an atom, then we use the quantum numbers. Now it is very interesting to note that how quantum numbers designate the address of an electron. See, quantum numbers are of 4 types, as you can see written on the screen. Principal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, the orbital angular momentum quantum number or the azimuthal quantum number, and last but not least comes the spin quantum number. Number 1 is principal, number 2 is azimuthal or orbital, number 3 is magnetic, number 4 is spin, right? Now if your location is starting from the country, then principal quantum number will denote the first idea about the position where the electron is sitting, right? Similarly, after the country, we are locating the state where you are situated, right? So azimuthal or orbital angular momentum quantum number will tell us that in what position electron is present inside the atom, followed by magnetic and followed by spin quantum number. Now spin quantum number is little different from the other 3 quantum numbers. Spin quantum number will denote the spin which the electron is having around the nucleus in the atom, right? Now as we people go into the details, we will see that the principal quantum number will designate in which shell the electron is present, right? So for the electron, the shell is just like the country for you in which you are situated. So principal quantum, if we are moving inside an electron, right? Just suppose we are moving inside an electron. First you will see the orbits or the shells. Inside the shell, if you move inside, you will see the subshell. Inside the subshell, if we move further inside, we will see orbitals. And inside the orbitals, we can see the electrons. Now these electrons will be having 2 different type of spin. One may have the clockwise spin, and the other one will be having the anti-clockwise spin, right? So principal quantum number will denote in which particular shell an electron is residing. Okay, right? Basically, if the principal quantum number is just an integer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. If it is large, it means the atom is large. If it is small, which means the atom is small, right? It will denote the shell number, how many shells are present. Just like that, we have KL, we have studied before in class 11, 19 also you people had a little glimpse, right? That KLMN are the shells present inside an atom. Okay, so for K is the first shell. So K will be having principal number 1, principal quantum number will be equal to 1 for K. Basically principal quantum number is denoted by N. So it will be like that. For K, N is equal to 1. Okay, after K there comes L. L is the second one. So for L, the N will be equal to 2. Now the third one, the KLM. So for M, the N will be equal to 3, and the fourth one is N. For it, the N will be equal to 4, right? So KLMN will have the values of principal quantum number 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively. Okay. Now we have to move inside each of these shells K, L, M and N individually to see that what subshells are present inside each of these things, right? This is very, very important for us. Okay. So first of all, we know from our prior knowledge that K shell can have 2 electrons, L shell can have 8 electrons, M shell can have 18 electrons, and the last one, that is N, it can have 32 electrons, right? K, L, M and N. Okay. Now if K is having 2 electrons, we need to see that
why it has 2 electrons. If L is having 8, we need to see why it has 8. How we can discuss about that? It is very simple. Let us see the fact that K contains shell. If we go for the subshells, right? From principal quantum number, if we go for the azimuthal quantum number or the orbital angular momentum quantum number, that is L, we will see that the subshells are like this: S, P, D and F. Okay. Now the value of azimuthal quantum number or L will be 0 to n minus 1. Right? The value can be 0 to n minus 1. Means if we go for the second shell, right? The second shell, that is L, the value the value of this azimuthal or orbital angular momentum quantum number can be 0 to n minus 1. Now for second shell, n is equal to 2. So it is 0 to 2 minus 1 means 0 to 1 means 0 and 1. Okay. Now S, P, D and F subshells, for this the values are like this: S is having value 0, P is having value 1, D is having value 2 and F is having value 3, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now whenever we are saying for L shell, we are having the value of this L as 0, 1, 2, 3. It comes 0 and 1 for L because 0 to n minus 1. For the L subshell, it is 2, right? So 0 to 2 minus 1 means 0 and 1. That is what we have discussed few moments ago. 0 means S, 1 means P. That means in the L subshell, capital L I am saying, in the L shell rather, S and P orbitals can be there. Okay. Now we know that P orbitals are of 3 types: Px, Py and Pz, whereas S is of only 1 type. So how many type you are getting? 1 S and 3 P orbitals, 2S, 2P, 2S and 2P. So 2S, 2Px, 2Py, 2Pz means total 4 orbitals we are getting. Now we know from Bohr-Body scheme that each orbital can have maximum of 2 electrons. So for 4 we can maximum have 8 electrons, and that is what you people have learned in your classes, the school classes, that is L shell can have maximum of 8 electrons. Understood? So it is as simple as that. S can contain, K can contain 2 and L can contain 8. Similarly, if we go for M, again I am just trying to explain that how 18 electrons are contained in the M subshell. So these 18 electrons, how we are getting? It's very easy to get, right? Let us try to imagine that we are having this M subshell we are talking about, KLM. So for M, the value of principal quantum number is 3. Okay. Now for 3, the value of orbital angular momentum quantum number can be from 0 to n minus 1. Here n is 3. So 0 to 3 minus 1. That means 0 to 2 means 0, 1 and 2. Now let us come to the orbital angular momentum quantum number. 0, 1, 2. 0 means S, 1 means P and 2 means D. Okay. S is having a single orbital, P is having 3 different orbitals and D is having 5 different orbitals. So 1 plus 3 plus 5. How much? 1 plus 3, 4 plus 5, 9. Each orbital can have maximum of 2 electrons. So 9 into 2 is 18. Right? So 18 electrons can be present in this particular shell, which we call M. Okay. Similarly, if we go for KLMN, right, N subshell, we have seen that in our class 11 or 9 or 10 or 12, whatever, that 32 electrons are present in this N subshell. Now, how we can calculate, how we can clear it out that how these 32 electrons are present. Okay. Again, for N subshell, the value of principal quantum number is 4. Right? So value of L will be 0 to n minus 1 means 0 to 4 minus 1 means 0 to 3 means 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? Now this 0, 1, 2, 3 can be discussed in that way that this 0 means S, 1 means P, 2 means D and 3 means F. Okay. Now let us try to imagine how many orbitals are present here. S contains 1 orbital, P contains 3 orbitals, so it becomes 1 plus 3, 4. D contains 5 orbitals, so 4 plus 5 is 9. And F contains 7 orbitals, so 9 plus 7 is how much? 16. Okay. Again, I would like to remember you that 2 electrons can be present in one particular orbital, right? So 16 into 2 is nothing but 32, right? So now you can clearly understand that how the distribution, the electronic configuration that you have studied in your 9 and 10, that K, L, M, N contains 2, 8, 18 and 32 electrons, how the justification of this thing comes, right? Whatever I have discussed here is nothing but the justification that how this 2, 8, 18 and 32 distribution comes, okay, right? Now let us go to some more details. Till now we have discussed about the principal quantum number and the azimuthal quantum number. Now we will move towards the magnetic quantum number. So magnetic quantum number denotes the number of orbitals present within a subshell. Means, see, again just go from the beginning. Principal, azimuthal, magnetic. First one is shell for principal. You move inside, you will get subshell, that is azimuthal quantum number. Then you move inside, you will get orbital, means magnetic quantum number. So how this can be explained clearly? See, magnetic quantum number, the values of ml, it is noted by ml basically. So here ml is not milliliter, okay, don't get confused. So magnetic quantum number, that is ml, can have values of plus L to minus L, right? Now let us take an example of say M shell, right? For M, the value of L will be n minus 1 means what? For M shell, n is 3, so it is 2, right? So plus L to minus L means plus 2 to minus 2. That means 5 things are there. Plus 2, plus 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, right? Now if we clearly explain, this 5 is nothing but 5d orbitals. Okay, just try to understand. Again, I am saying for magnetic quantum number, the value of shell, for M shell, the value of this L, azimuthal quantum number, will be 0 to n minus 1 means 0, 1, 2. Since n minus 1 means here 3 minus 1. For M, the value of n is 3. Okay, so 0, 1, 2 we are having. Now we will get 3 different ml values for this 3, 0, 1, 2, right? Values of L. For 0, the value will be 0, right? For 1, it will be plus 1 to minus 1 means plus 1, 0, minus 1, 3. Now this 3 comes for the 3 p orbitals. Plus 1 means px, 0 means py and minus 1 means pz. Similarly, if we go for this particular things, that is your 2, the value of L2, then it will be plus 2 to minus 2. And again this comes from plus 1, plus 2 means dxy, plus 1 means dyz, 0 means dzx, minus 1 means dx square minus y square, and this last one minus 2 means dz square. Okay, so this way we can get the magnetic quantum number, right? Now if we go for the spin quantum number, how we are going to get the spin quantum number? It is quite simple. See, we cannot see the position of electron inside the atom. It is not possible for us to watch it by bare eyes. It is not possible to us by watch it using microscopes also, right? So we can assume what the spin is like. There can be 2 types of spin. Only 2 electrons are present in one orbital. Among these 2 electrons, one will have clockwise spin, plus up. Another will have anti-clockwise spin, that is minus half. Okay. So this plus half and minus half will give us this different types of spin quantum numbers for the 2 electrons residing in one particular orbital, right? Okay. So when it is negative, it is downward spin, it is spin down, and when it is positive, it is spin up or it is upward spin, right? So if we go for some examples, for some discussion, how questions can come from this particular topic, that is very important here. Two different type of questions can come. One type of question may be the 4 quantum number values will be given to you, or 3 quantum number values will be given to you. You need to designate that which orbital the thing is, or which orbital is designated by those quantum numbers, right? And another type of question may come where you will be given with the orbital, and you will be asked that just tell the values of 4 quantum numbers. So I will discuss both the examples here. The first one, say you can see in your screen, that is if n equals to 2, l equals to 1 and m equals to 0, then what type of orbital we people are having, or how many things are possible. See, possible combinations, this is the third type actually. Possible combinations are given here. For n equals to 1, what type of combination is available, that is given. For n equals to 2, what type of combination is available, that is given. And for n equals to 3 also, the combination has been given. Now if we go for the fact that for n equals to 2, l equals to 1 and ml equals to 0, which orbital can we see, right? For n equals to 2 means, and l equals to 1. Now l equals to 1 means p, so it is 2p, and ml equals to 0 means it is py. So the resulting orbital will be 2py, right? This we can clearly explain under this. Again, if we go for the reverse, if 2py is given to us, or say 3dxy is given to us, so 3dxy, 3 means n equals to 3. Now for d the value of l will be 2, and for xy the value will be plus 2, right? So the quantum number values will be n will be equal to 3, l will be equal to your 2, and ml will be equal to plus 2, right? So this different type of questions may come from here. Now just go through whatever things I have discussed. You study the course material, and whatever problems you are having, you can send it to me by mail, you can ring me up, or you can message me, right? So let us wait for the 4th lecture, and there we will also discuss some important things. So till then, thank you so much.